Welcome back to another From The Stache Podcast. It's your host, James Davis McAllister. And today, back on that interview grind, I guess, here we are. No, I have a very special guest. Someone's very special to me, brother to me. Somebody keeps me in line. Long story short, his name's Tyler Bowman, a.k.a. Robin the Plug. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us where you're from?
Yo, what's up? It's Robin the Plug. I'm from West Salem, Ohio.
Where the fuck is that?
That's the middle of nowhere. That's Amish country.
I mean, right. I live in the hickety doodads, like in bumfuck Egypt, but it's West Salem, man. That sounds like a fucking horror film.
It is. It really is. It's the woods, fields, children of the corn, all that shit.
Because I got Salem, Ohio down the road from me. So, well, anyways, why don't you tell them why we're here today? And again, everyone who listens to this knows there's no scripts with this shit, but just an open conversation with my buddy here. So, what's up?
So we're here to support some artists at the
Outpost, but we're actually in the parking lot of the Outpost, and as y'all know, I have a very unorthodox way of recording. I don't do all that bougie shit, but I actually meant like yourself. Like, what are you doing on the podcast today? What are we here for? Like, why don't you let them know what you got in store here? You got a lot of shit coming up, man. Yeah. Like, I had a co-headlining tour. Like, talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. I got a big ass tour coming up with Flames Oh God. We're hitting all sorts of cities: Atlanta, Las Vegas,
Myrtle Beach.
We're going
Pittsburgh,
almost
Columbus,
almost all across North America. Like, it's a really
Atlanta.
big tour for me.
Yeah, it is. And Robin, I'm gonna call him Tyler, guys, because that's his name. So, but his artist name's Robin Plug. Now, Tyler, how did we meet? Like, how did you and I, like, you want to talk about that? Like, how our relationship even developed?
Yeah. So, I caught you talking to another artist about mental health. You said that mental health is really important for the artist that you're looking over and shit. And when I heard that, at the Vault. I think it was
it was April 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. It was April 3rd.
Yep. Yep.
2021. No, it's 2021, April 3rd. 2021, the No Curfew tour.
Yep. And so I approached you and I was like, hey, I heard you like you care about artists' mental health, and that
was the first time we talked, but ultimately, remember, we had forgot your set, remember?
Yeah, I was
come up to me.
Yeah, I was worried about performing.
So he was the last one to perform, and it was packed either regardless, but, long story short, I fell in love. I was like, holy shit, who the hell is this? Because, guys, you go listen to yourself, but y'all know I don't talk no shit. This dude's one of the most unique artists I've ever heard, and I am not saying rap, because he's not a rap artist. He is a recording artist. This dude is... Oh, you'll hear this new stuff, the transition from the old stuff that you'll listen to. I suggest listen to Joker. It's just, he's like a unicorn. And y'all know me, I don't work with just anybody, but, Tyler's the type of person, he puts money into himself. He's a model artist that a lot of people could model themselves after. He used to have his own little companies running, which he is building his own brand. However, he was hard-headed at first, right?
I was really hard-headed.
And protective. And now, in fact, I used to manage Robin. I don't anymore. Now he is a part of Heart of Haven partner stuff. But, you've learned and talk about that process a little bit, learning. And like now you're with Danny. Shout out my brother, Dynasty, Danny Holmes, man. I love you. Now he's your manager. And now, but talk about like what got you to the point, like, man, I need to just start listening.
Yeah, well, it was after that first show, it put a bug in me to like, it's not just recording songs and putting songs out there for people to see. There's a whole process behind that shit. And I had to learn that for myself, because I wasn't listening to nobody. So I started jumping on any opportunity that I could, started talking to everybody that I could, and just really grinding away at it and chipping away at it until every show I'm doing a weekend, every show I'm in the studio, I'm doing some sort of move every single day. Whether it's my social media presence, whether it's working on a song, but every single day I'm trying to do something with my music.
Tell them about it. You're one of the most hardworking artists I've ever met in my life in 20 years of doing this. And that's a big, listen to what he just said. That is literally, that is gospel to what artists need to hear. No, they don't understand. Like, I compare it to putting a child, having a child, like your music, treat it that way. You're not just going to throw it out on the street. You're going to groom it, let it grow. So where would you say from 2021 to now, what's different about you? Like, how do you feel your growth has? Do you think that, do you think you're now in a position really, truly to take this by the reins and go with it full force with letting your team do their jobs and, you doing yours. Like
100%. A lot of it is delegating. You have to have a team behind you, and you have to know where to give direction to your team. Like, every person needs to have an assignment to make your shit happen. So, it's just, yeah, it's having that team behind you. It's,
Okay, so talk about that. With having a team, how hard is that to build? Because, you've been scammed, just as many others, have been. So, like, it's been hard for you to trust people, and understandably so. So why do you trust myself and Danny? Like, what would make you, what I'm saying? Like, what makes us different? This isn't to groom myself. This is just to, I really want to know why Danny and I are different than, and Steph for that matter are different than, all these other people.
So I'd always jump on any opportunity, and that's how I got scammed so much, is because I was a hungry artist willing to jump on any opportunity. I've been probably scammed out of just, between $5,000 and $7,000 just trying to grab opportunities. But the opportunities that you and Danny and a couple other promoters that I've been working with have presented me have always shown results. So now it's like, I don't jump on everything, and I actually, a lot of times I'll send it to you to verify, like, hey, is this a legit thing?
Yeah. Yeah. What he just said, this legit thing, look, reach out to me, James Davis McAllister, hearthavenent@gmail.com. If anyone has a question about that shit, because what it does, and the reason I want to put a stop to it and talk about it and be vocal about it, because it hurts what I do, and this, I've learned that being 100% transparent in this is the way to be, and that's the thing, Tyler's been very honest with me and sometimes angry and rightfully so. He's been very expressive to me, and that's, why I, want to work with. But to your point, that's the thing, guys. People need a track record. Like, you can Google my name, my company, you see the LLC, you see the track record. When people approach you about things, a lot of times, if it sounds too good, it is, like, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's a duck. So, like, would you say that being scammed so many times, is there any moments you were like, man, fuck this shit, I'm done?
There was one time, there's an artist I really like, Token. I got approached about a feature from him, and I spent $2,500 on a feature from Token, and when I received that track, it was like 30 seconds of this dude that was not Token. And I'm not
gonna Token know this?
No.
Well, he will. I didn't know that. I'll make sure he finds out about this.
I looked up to Token, so this was a huge thing for me.
Yeah, he don't want that. Yeah.
I just broke down, man. Like, I really was about to give it all up there for a second. Like,
see, man, and that's the thing. And, listen, I've been, anybody who knows this, again, I'm an artist first, and I've been scammed many a times myself out of close to $100,000, over 20 years. And, this industry is the most snaky, vile, disgusting fucking thing I've ever been a part of. And I'm not lying. It's worse than the porn industry. And, man, I'll tell y'all this right now. Don't try to make music for a living. Just do it as a hobby. It's fun. Don't ever start to take it seriously. If you do want to take it seriously, you have to understand a couple things. One, it's not music anymore. It's entertainment. Two, you no longer are in control of what you want to do or what you need to do. You have to follow. So, and Tyler's is to the point where, he's realized that, but he, and he's okay with that. He's been, again, fucked over so many times and heartbroken so many times. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to evolve and change and do whatever I need to do to fit Bill. And you guys will see that with his new music. I mean, my Lord.
Yeah, my new music, especially, like, if you listen through my whole catalog, you can kind of see as I'm progressing.
What, Friday the 13th? October, right? Isn't that going to be the next single release?
That's going to be the new rollout to the new music, man. And it's all industry. So, like, I don't,
with your spin on it, though.
With my original spin on it. But it's industry standard. Is like, I feel like I'm hitting that bar as to getting on a radio, as to being marketable, as to getting the fan base that I've always really wanted.
Like, and how do you feel about that, truthfully? Like, do you feel like some kind of way, like, because you're very lyrical. You're like a lyrical gymnast. Okay. So, like, is it hard for you to dumb that down in a sense? Like, how do you feel overall about it? Like, honestly, like,
it's hard at times to not like go into things. It's like, I'll start writing a big paragraph and I'll just start erasing the fuck out of it. And then I'll only come out with 2 bars from it. But it really is, the simpler you can make things sometimes, the better it sounds. It's not always about being like super lyrical or super choppy with it. Yeah. It's about that wittiness.
Right. You want to reach as many demographics as you can. And back to your point of taking a couple bars from it, I call it Frankensteining. You know, I'll take 5 different songs I've written and I Frankenstein them together with the different bars. And like, or you know, verses or rap, whatever, rap, metal. And so like, all right, now, a little bit more about yourself. If you want to develop, I know the story. If you want to divulge a little bit into it, I'd like you to, but you don't have to. Where does Robin the Plug come from? What the fuck does it mean? Where does that name come from? You know, is this a Robin Hood play on? But how? What happened? And again, you don't have to. Again, I don't want, you know.
Yeah. So basically, when I was in high school, I hit a lick, and I always, like, since 13, 14 years old, I've been rapping. And coming from West Salem, where you only have Amish and
all white people,
country, they did not look kindly on me. It was constant, you know, just bantering and dogging and insults. And so like I at a very early point in my career learned not to give a fuck what people are saying, because like regardless, I'm gonna do it. And
that'd be hard for you, though, right? Being a white guy, like
being, and not having any sort of crowd to play to. Well, and I ended up hitting a lick, and they burned my house down, and that was devastating. All my recording equipment, my shoebox full of lyrics.
Why did you hit the lick, though? Tell them why you hit the lick.
The lick was hit because this guy, he was peeling the stems off his buds. And he was purposefully, if he saw a gram bag to you, he put the stems in the bag first to get the weight up, and only give you like 0.5. And like, it wasn't just with the gram bags.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at it, but it's kind of comical, isn't it? Though, when you look back at it, like, you're literally the Robin Hood of the hood.
Yeah, and what I did with
the literal Robin Hood,
everything that I took, I gave back to the community. I never charged for nothing. I just started handing it out.
You know what he told me? He says, I was tired of seeing my friends shit, and I was tired of seeing people getting ripped off. I'm like, what the fuck, man? You were psychotic to do that. You know, he got his house burned down. You know, and again, like, you know, we can move on from it if you want, because I don't want you self-snitching, none of that shit, because, like, you know, this man's authentic in what he's done, and I don't fuck with people that aren't, you know, and again, it's not like he's out here talking about killing people all the time, this, that, third, but, you know, there's mentions in his songs, and all I'll say is that it may be real or it might not be, you know, but, you know.
Yeah, and it's not to say, like, I keep hitting licks, but I feel like hitting that lick and getting my house burnt down, that name is what I was able to take away from it.
You're a certified stepper is what it's called. You know, now, were you ever in a gang? Did you ever claim anything? And if so, how'd you get out of it? Is it scary to be out of it? Or, you know, like, what's that like?
Yeah, I was a part of Heartless Felons.
Okay.
And
did they have a set, or were they just their own? Like, you know, were they a part of Blood?
I think they were just trying to develop a set in my area, coming from the city, trying to get a market out there.
Okay.
And it kind of started divulging and like dividing up, and they ended up sending me up to Cleveland to get my heart check, and I properly got stomped out and everything.
So your heart check, that was your initiation then, right? Is that what you're saying? Like that's how they worded it? Like, so like the heart check?
Yeah, it's to get in.
Okay, that's interesting.
Like
I know that. Right. Yeah, I'm aware of the initiation type of thing. Like, you know, we were talking about you being jumped, which we'll talk about here shortly. But so, okay, all right, we'll move on from that. You know, but anyway, I'm sorry to laugh at you about that, because it's not like funny, but it is, right? If you look, that's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, because there's honestly no reason I should have been involved.
But look at you, bro, and it's no offense to you. You're a very handsome man, yeah. But like, this dude's got, you know, these teacher glasses, you know, very very quote unquote dorky white dude, right? So it's just kind of funny, you know, like to look at you and just think like you're just as skinny as me, you know, just to think that. You know, so that's just, to me, it's just comical. It's literally almost comic book worthy. Now, all right, so to that point, now you were jumped in July of this year at a venue here in Kent, Ohio, where we're at now, and you know, I know it didn't have anything to do with that or anything like that, but how did that make you feel? Like, did it almost take you back to, because they're lucky that you weren't packing. I'll just put it to them that way. Whoever did this is lucky that you weren't fucking carrying heat. Straight the fuck up. And they're also lucky that no one else is there. But tell us, like, if you don't mind, I mean, like, maybe share and maybe we can explain how people not to do what you did, right? You know, be alone, shit like that.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about it, we don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I was sitting outside of the venue, just kind of trying to cool off before my drive home. I was a little inebriated.
Oh, God.
And as I was walking to my car, I got swiped from the side, and I squared up with them, and we're swinging fists for a second, and I just told him, like, I'm trying to get to my car. I got him at bay to where, like, we were probably 5 feet apart, and then more people came up out of nowhere.
No.
And
Were you, like, the last one to leave, pretty much?
pretty much,
Okay.
yeah, I was the last person.
Now, we won't even get into that. I won't even bring that up. We're not going to bring that up in this. This is the introduction.
but it definitely it gave me a new
Were you packing, though? Were you heating in the car? Like, at that time, no?
No.
Bet you wish you were.
In the
I'm
car,
glad you didn't.
In the car, yeah. But I couldn't have got to the car if I wanted to.
Was that your first thought, though?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, all I got to say is if it just so happens, if anybody that's listening to did that, I'm going to listen. And this ain't a threat. This is a promise. I swear to God, I'm going to eat you. And this is the problem I have with that. I have two issues with it, but that I won't get into. But I will get into one. This is why people view the rap industry and the rap scene the way they do. I have never had an issue at a single one of my shows, man. And like the point, my lesson to all you artists out there, especially white rappers, and I'll just say that, especially don't travel alone ever, never. Ever. And if you can, bring a friend of color with you. And that's just the way it is. I hate to be this way, and I hate to talk this way, but it's the goddamn truth of the reality of how things are right now. That's just the forecast of it, right? You know, like right now, you know, we're at the Outpost. Shout out to Shay. You know, shout out OEA. You know, we're here. We're two of what? 4 Caucasians, which I'm fine with. However, it is something to be mindful of, because you've got to understand that a lot of the younger black youth, right, look at, and we'll move on for this, look at people like myself as a devil, and they should look at me as a devil, right? We've done nothing but, you know, persecute them. So you got to keep that in the back of your head, white rappers, and respect that, and realize that you are in a territory that is not yours, number one. It's not your culture. It's not it. And respect that. So even if you decide you're going to travel alone, no show, number one, don't be inebriated like this mister here. But number two, make sure you're leaving at appropriate time, you know, stuff like that. Because this shit happens in metal shows too, you know. So again, I don't want to make it about race or anything, but I'm just saying, you know, for all my, you know, white rappers out there, man, this is just the way, any rapper really for that matter, because you also have people there that are looking. I mean, you usually dress nice, you know, you have a lot of you don't carry cash with you, but you spend money.
Yeah,
you know?
and I'm normally handing out drinks and making sure everyone's having a good time.
Yeah, it's just be very, very careful, you know, because you could have got killed.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is, like, it did give me a whole different appreciation of life, because I was found in the streets, knocked out. Like, a cop found me just laying in the street probably 2 hours after, you know.
Jesus.
So, I'm lucky to be alive.
You are. You really, truly are. And what, you know, I'm proud of you. I'm more revengeful of this, and see, you're over it, and that's why that's what showed me your growth too. I was just like, you know, and I'm very proud of you, you know, because at the end of the day, I feel bad for those they're young men, obviously. I feel bad for those young men, because I can never imagine what they've been through. I can never imagine why they even thought to do that, right? You know, it's a normalcy to them, and that's sad, you know. So at the end of the day, it is sad, and good on you, man, for you know, being the way you are about it, because you can easily turn the other cheek and be racist about it, be, you know, a dick about it, be revengeful, but instead you're turning the other cheek. And what's good about it is you're reformed gangster, quote unquote, right? Mm-hmm. So that's good on you, man. Kudos to you, dude. Be proud of yourself for that, and take a lesson from that in multiple ways. Anyone's listening to this. So tell us about this tour. Like, what do you plan on doing with it? Like, you know, this is what your second tour being a co-headliner with stuff, pretty much, because the first one you bought on to the rest of it, didn't you? Pretty much.
Yeah. I
so
bought onto that.
Steph, talk about Flames of God. So this time around, though, it's a little bit different. You're a little bit higher up on the card, right? You're an official co-headliner. Well, how's that feel?
And it feels so much different than the first tour that I went on, because I have a support group under me. I have a fan base now. I've got a lot of eyes on me. I'm up 4-0.
How do you feel, though? How do you feel? Like, how does it make you feel? Like,
it's surreal. Like, it's actually, like, being an artist and everything, like I've always done the shows and I've done the work, but it's never felt like I was an actual artist until now.
Dude.
Like it feels like I'm actually doing the shit right and I'm actually getting somewhere with it.
You had told me, and you were upset with Flames and I too, because you said like, I feel like I'm not a part of this. Like I don't, and that really hit myself, and I reciprocated that too, Steph. And we were, you know, I never thought of it that way, but we saw where you were coming from, right? And I had offered you, and he will be having his own headlining tour this summer. Tyler will, Robin the Plug. But like, so go from 2021 now we're talking about your own headliner, where you're the like full headliner, not support
in 2024.
In the summer. I mean, like, it doesn't feel like all this bullshit that you've been through, all the trials and tribulations, being jumped, just being all this, man, all the being ripped off. Do you feel like it's finally starting to, like, you know, get somewhere? Like, it's like, do you feel it's finally, that was all worth it?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. And I feel almost like these things had to happen in order for me to develop into the artist I'm becoming.
Yes, sir. I said it in an interview. Like, you know, I would not have what I have if not it being a struggle and going through the struggles. My Jeff Hatrix, one of my dear friends and mentors from Mushroomhead, the creator of Mushroomhead, said, you don't know peace until you've had suffering. Well, I've suffered. And once you know, someone like yourself, once you've realized that, right, and you've realized that, you're trying to find your peace. Same with Flames, and you know, it becomes, that's when you start to open your eyes, right, and then nothing else matters other than yourself. You're not worried about the opinions of others and yada yada. Because what, like, do you get a lot of flack, you know, for just working with me and Flames, or like being white? Like, tell us about that. Or are you pretty left alone? Like, how does that work for you? You know,
I feel like there's always like
directed at you, like that you're seeing and shit like that, like, you know, blatant just hate.
Yeah, there's always a tension. There's always definitely a tension when I step into the room, but I feel like a lot of times I just come in and I be myself. And
well, I mean, online, like, right, like getting hate mail, all that shit. Calls,
yes, 100%. I've been called every name that you can possibly think of.
That's when you know you're doing something, though. That's what I found out, because the metal scene's a lot different. It wasn't as fucking high school drama bullshit as this rap scene is. And I noticed, though, this rap scene's literally nothing more than entertainment. There's no meat. There's no purpose other than entertainment for rap. And it is what it is, right? It's not how talented you are at all. It has nothing to do about talent. It's about who you know, number one, but it's also about how you separate yourself from others in terms of entertainment. What's going to make people want to watch you?
Yeah, what makes you stick out?
Yeah, and that's unfortunate that it's like that, but that's just the way it is. So, like, where do you see yourself in a year from now? This day, October, what is it, 8th, some shit like that, to, you know, next year, 2024.
I should just be coming off my own headlining tour, and hopefully when I come off that tour, I have a whole nother album lined up. Because right now I got a lot of music on the back burner, and I don't plan on like slowing up as far as making music goes. Right. So I just want to stay consistent.
What did we do last night, right? We went over, you know, the songs you'd like to release. One single we wanted. We had 10 songs we went over and listened to and sat there, discussed it. What one, why? And that's because what he just said, and that's the reason I'm bringing this up. Like, he has so much music compiled up, and that's good, because like as a band, we would go into a studio with 20 songs for, you know, a 5-song EP. And what I'm getting at is back to the entertainment thing. It don't matter what you like. That could be your favorite song, but if you're, you know, you have a study group or whatever, and they say it isn't, it's not. You're not putting that out. You shouldn't. You know, you want to hear, you know, what you want to put out, what others are going to hear. Now, would you say that like you're trying to find a genre or a niche? Are you like, what? I don't know how to ask this. Yeah, are you trying to find a genre or a niche, or are you just kind of gonna go with the flow, or are you gonna stay your avant-garde self? Like, how are you intending on handling that? Like, let's say one of them, I'm gonna fuck it. Anybody know he's got some pop punk shit coming up? Let's say you release that, right? What if that blows and that's all people want? Would you go straight, or would you be like, nah, fuck that, I still want to do other shit too?
So I'd definitely pound at it harder. I got like 4 or 5 different genres.
Oh, dude, you have 90. He's got 90. The dude's a fucking chameleon.
So I would just focus more on that, but I would still make music in the other genres as well.
The the thing with you is they may be different genres, but you know it's Robin the Plug.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's the similarity in all of it. Is it's still me.
Flames does a good job of that too with his genres. You know, Flames of God does. You know, I mean, personally, I think you've done it even more prestigious, more prestigious than he has. In all honesty, in the terms of, you know, you have tapped into that. Like, I'm telling you guys, when you think Machine Gun Kelly, and I mean this whole fucking heartedly. Listen, that sounds like a shit taken by a toddler compared to what this man. And what, you know, a big part of that's the producer, you know, that you work with. So, you know, shout him out, talk about him and how important a good producer is and somebody that's comfortable.
Yeah, big shout out to Justin Kirkpatrick, aka Infinite Capacity. I worked with him probably 2020, right before I met you.
And where's he out of? Like it?
Mansfield.
I'll put his links in I'll tell you what, guys. I'll put his links in the bio. But go ahead.
But I found him. I made one track. I was kind of iffy on it. I went and recorded my own stuff. Well, 2 years later, I came back, and he's getting his master's degree and stuff. And it's that part when we were talking earlier about not listening. He was telling me certain things about like what I needed to do with that track that I was just fighting back on. So when I came back 2 years later, anything that he was suggesting, I was just going ahead with. Let's see what happens. And then I heard how it sounded. I heard what he was doing, and it made me realize why he's getting a master's degree. Like, put yourself in his shoes. Going to school like that and putting all that work in, obviously you're going to be better than the next guy,
right? You know, and that's yes. What he did. Any good producer, they're going to tell you what to do. After you release, like for instance, I'm very very picky. Shout out Aaron Schoen, my brother, my lover, my partner. You know, he's my producer because he'll be like, "Nah, James, you're going to do it this way. Just give me a take of it so I can show you." Right. And then he showed me, I'm like, oh, you know, you want a producer that challenges you. You want a producer that challenges you to be better and better and better. And is not satisfied with the one take. This one take bullshit, I swear. Flames, I swear. And he knows that I get so pissed at him. He goes in and does one take and it's fire. Right. Oh, one take. Yeah, but guess what? If you would have been a 3 take, this would have 3 times the plays, you know, and would you agree with that? Like in terms of, you know, because a lot of these rappers just go in and it's off their dome. You are totally different, right? You really write your shit. There's a whole process.
I write my shit out,
and you can tell.
I rehearse it vigorously before I get into the studio.
And how important is that to you?
It's really important to me, but with working with Justin, they get inputs and, another set of ears can change the whole dynamic of a song. And you just got to be open-minded. Even though I come in with this rehearsed, you know, I'm open to changing things.
Right. And it's tough when you've rehearsed a song for 20, 30, 40 hours. When you go in there and it's like, well, this is all, boom, you know. And the thing of it is, like you said with this producer, fuck the degrees and all that shit. I've heard it. And it's, I mean, it's funny because I'd be like, oh, he should have done this, and this. It's like, he did. He did what I was thinking too and more. And he's, man, I'll tell you what, listen, me personally, if Aaron gets too busy or some shit like that, I know where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the truth. You know, you really talked him up. I remember, you know, you never talked producer up like that, you know? So now, do you see yourself, like, what do you want to be? Do you want to do an artist? You want to label, like where does this end, man? Like, what's the end goal with this, dude? Like, where, like, you know what I mean? What's the whole vision?
I just
don't know yet, you know?
I don't. Yeah. I just want to be like, I know that I don't want to stop being an artist anytime soon. It's something I want to do being an old man.
You're in your prime. You're just now in your prime. How old are you?
26.
26. Yeah, it's 26, 27, 28 is the prime of an artist. You just hit your prime.
Yeah, and I can feel it. Like, being an artist feels so much different than it ever has. Damn,
you're 23 when we met.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. You've grown immensely. Like, you know, when I was your age, bro, I was homeless. So, yeah.
Even just the way I hold myself.
Yes.
And like, I hold a full-time job.
That's what I was about to say. I was literally just about to say that.
So, yeah, you know, everything musically I'm doing is on top of a job. So you got to think that's
like you drove up here. Think about that. You drove all the way up here to stay at my house after going to work, all that shit. You got to go to work tomorrow?
Yeah, I got to go to work tomorrow. And everything is way out of the way from West Salem. Everything is an hour, 2 hours away from where I live. But I feel like I make that sacrifice, and that's what like makes
you're driving hunger, man.
Yeah.
Listen, and this is the thing, authenticity shows, and that's what me and Flames have seen. I know that for sure. I could speak for Flames on that. You want this. You're hungry as hell, and you know you can't be anything you want to be. Don't let anybody, kids out there, anybody listen. No, that's bullshit. No, you cannot. However, if you truly work hard at something and are authentic about it and are truthful about it, if it within your means, right? Like, you know, like for instance, my mom can't be anything she wants to be. Like, she couldn't come be a rapper, right? Let's be honest. She couldn't rap to save her life. So my point being, not everybody's a rapper, but you definitely are. With your, well, you know, recording artist. So with that being said, you're relentless with it. And that's what you got. You got to have that relentlessness. You got to be a motherfucking lion. You got to be willing to bite out your own fucking brother's neck if you want this. And then that's something you've shown. You've totally shown that. And that's why how many other artists are still around from when you started with us to now? Maybe two.
From the no crew?
Two? Well, just overall. Just that you end up playing with, seeing maybe 2, 3?
Yeah.
Ruger, Priest. Because even KB retired. Shout out KB. I miss you. I love you. Even she's done with it, retired. And Flames, but he don't count. So, 2?
Yeah.
Maybe 3 with Chubbs. YT Mari just came back. My point being that, like myself, I've been doing this 20 years. And I tell people this all the time. I look them in the eyes, I'm like, I'll be here in 5 years. Will you? Nah, you won't be. Just in the past 3 years, I probably worked close to 1,000 artists. Maybe 100 of them are still. And my point being with that is, people are going to come and go. It's about that persistence, right? Because you're going to have shows with 5 people at it, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're going to have shows with 500. And that's something that...
Yeah, don't let that discourage you at all. I've been disappointed with turnouts at venues and stuff, but like... I've never let that sway me from jumping on an opportunity, because those are 5 different people, and it's practice on the stage.
Yep. It's the people that put it on a lot of times too, right? Just because there's 5 people, that doesn't relate. That doesn't show the promoter, the person that booked it's bad. And I fucking hate this shit. Stop, artists. It's your job to bring people. It is not the clubs. It's not the fucking promoters. It is not none of that. It's your job. You know, if you can't bring 5 people to a fucking show, 5 to 10 people to a fucking show, like on a consistent basis, especially if you're in one market, get the fuck out of here. Get out of my face. Stop wasting my time. And that's just the way it is.
And that's something I actually recently learned is like, I can't expect people to just accept me. I need to bring people with me.
And that's the thing. I'd say 9 out of 10 people here know you. So that's by proxy bringing them for you. And you're not even playing, but that's the point. You've earned that to the point of now it's not even you bringing people out. Those are people that would come out for you anyways now. Yep. So I don't want you to take offense out. There ain't nobody in West Salem to bring. You know what I'm saying? But you've built your fan base. How's that been being a white man? Like, talk about that. Like, how's that feel, first of all? Does it feel validating, number one? Number two, do you feel like, I know it's been a little harder for you because of that, and that's just the fact of it. And it's just what it is. So, like, how's that been, man? Talk about that, dude. So,
it started off hard. Like I said, I came from West Salem.
Because not to interrupt you, he's not what you call a wigger. That's what they call a white dude that's trying to be, quote unquote, urban or hood. He's not like that at all. Yeah, he dresses nice, stuff like that, but he's not in his rap, nor do you carry himself like that. Sorry, continue. So in my area, it was hard. They weren't accepting it because they looked at me as, Well, I'm talking like with this though.
Yeah, so it's hard in that. And then, so what I did is I started coming out to the cities and trying to perform, try and find my footing. And man, I had to prove myself. I had to work tooth and nail. Like every time I came onto the stage, it was a lot of tension. I better step up and perform good, because ain't nobody here just gonna give it to me. I need to prove myself.
Double hard. You gotta work double hard, man.
Double hard. And that's why.
And rightfully so.
That's why when I come onto the stage, a lot of times I don't have the backtracks. I want people to see what I'm bringing.
What else don't you have? 900 people on stage. Get your homies the fuck off the stage. Get them off. If they're not your hype man or they're not in the truck and track, get your homie off there. Because guess what? That homie, the same second you sign that deal or get that bag, he gonna be the one coming for your fucking head. And I swear to that. And I promise you that. And I'm tired of seeing it. But back to your point, we is what, even me being who I am and do what I do, I am the only white promoter. I am the only white quote unquote booker. I am the only white management company out here. And that has been something that I have to thank Flames of God for almost immediately just being boom, accepted. I was accepted immediately into this, right? I mean, as we accepted you, but it's, it is definitely, at first it was scary to me. It was daunting. It was like being the unicorn, the zebra, right? But then I embraced it and looked at it from the eyes of them, right? A black person, how they feel on a daily basis, and then put it into relativity. And I've learned, and I've asked those tough questions to my black mentors and friends because I wanted to know. I want to know. And so, do you feel like you're accepted now? Do you feel like, you validated yourself? Because I can tell you right now, you sure the fuck have.
Yeah, I definitely still have a lot of proving myself to do.
Of course,
every
absolutely.
time I step on the stage, I have to bring it.
Well, you've got this market here, you've dominated it for the past 3 years, along with Steph stuff, and so do you feel like with this tour, do you feel like you're going to have to work 10 times harder than you did here because you're going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, right? One of the homes of hip hop.
It's starting from square one.
Are you
again.
nervous? Are you nervous?
No, I'm excited. I'm really excited because it's going to give me that. That's always what drove me is proving myself, and like this is what I'm bringing, and I just want to show it to people.
I'm proud of you. I'm excited, and like I'm nervous for you. I'm nervous. I've never been to Atlanta. That's where my favorite artist rapper was murdered. King Bonch, LLKV baby, and fuck Lil Durk, he a Fed. And it's like, y'all won't lie. We've canceled many shows in Lorraine. And there's a tour date in Lorraine, and because a lot of shootings and stuff. But I get a lot of threats from there. I had a diss song written about me, not so long ago. And like, I'm not gonna lie, I told Steph, like, I mean, if you want me to go, I'll go. But I'm not, So I want to get out of Ohio anyways because the money just ain't here for it. Now, do you think that? As it is now, who would you rank that you've been around? Give me your top 5. Artists that you've worked with. I know this is tough and hard. I want it though. Yeah, I'm curious.
That's tough.
I want 5. Maybe 3 if you have to, but I want 5.
I definitely put Nicasso up there.
Okay, I agree.
My producer, Infinite Capacity.
Okay.
He doesn't really pursue rap so much as the producing side of things, but when he does get on the track, man, he just tears it up.
He's a musician too, guitarist, drummer, all that shit. So it's a little, So okay, who else?
Flames Oh God. You got Lana. You got Mickey Baby. There's so much talent out here. YT Mari. Like, I've met so many artists that really like.
Ain't nobody got the talent Ohio got. Ain't nobody. Ain't close.
It's been a pleasure, like, meeting all these different artists and developing a friendship. Tache.
I mean, it's been something for me that has been, and maybe you can talk to. Now, being a white privileged male, right? It's been something with me now that I've realized that, and I'm ashamed of that, right? Do you feel any type of an obligation, almost like a service to not just the black community, but yourself and the future of just humanity? Is any of that in your head at all, or has that never even crossed your head? Like, you're revolutionary.
Yeah.
Like you could be, right?
Yeah, kind of rectifying my ancestors' actions, basically.
Right. It's not even so much I'll say this. I wouldn't even say it to that in the sense of, the blacks sold the blacks to us, right? But I'll say this from the standpoint of what people think about white people, right? In terms of, how it's always been, you're a part of the change and why it is starting to change. Like, how does that make you feel, honestly, man? Like, don't sell that short. Like, think about what I just said, the impact of that, dude. Like, my daughter, right? She's going to grow up in a little bit better of a world in terms of that quote-unquote word racism. You know what I mean? So, seriously, has that ever hit your mind? Or is this the first time you've really, thought, oh, my God?
That's really the first time I've thought
your
about it. Your
purpose is bigger than just your music.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, I've always just...
You're one of maybe 2 white. You're lucky if there's another white person at those shows, right? But you go up, and these people love you, man. The urban, these people love you, and they've taken you in their own. But how do you intend on using it as a tool to help better that relationship between these races and stuff? Or is that something you're just kind of I'm gonna kind of put?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do what I do.
And again, I never thought of it that deep, but you have to, right? Because that is what you're doing, and you are representing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Not many white rappers, right? And don't say Eminem. I fucking hate that shit because that dude was a closet rapper. But now, like with MGK, name another white rapper. I mean, Kasky, stuff like that. I'm talking like actually like huge, like, name one. You can't. I mean, Post Malone ain't a rapper.
No.
Tom McDonald ain't. I mean, I don't know what the fuck that is, but, so it's like who, like, do you aspire to like one day have that Billboard chart song, or are you content with just making just enough to get by? I would love to hit billboards. That's definitely the goal. You could, but I mean, ultimately, I'm just gonna make music, and like what comes of it comes of it. I'm just doing what I love. So if I gotta hold a full-time job through this whole thing, like I will, but I'm still gonna be pursuing music the whole time. So one major artist, if you could do a feature with them, who would it be? Like we're talking major. Don't give me one of these tokens. Or I'm talking major. Major. Like mainstream major. Who would it be? Yeah, I feel like Lil Wayne might be a little too old by the time. But no, I'm just saying hypothetically, right? If right now we could get the feature. Lil Wayne? Yeah, Lil Wayne. Why? May I ask? A big influence on me. Okay. I was into him when he was like 14. He was in the hot boys, we on fire. Go DJ, that's my DJ. And then, so that's interesting. If I'd say if I could pick one, it'd be Post Malone. If I had to pick a mainstream artist, it'd be Post Malone for sure. Or 6ix9ine, but he's not mainstream because he doesn't fucking, the Billboard, won't allow him on there and shit. But, we'll wrap this up here close to, almost 45 minutes. And don't worry, there will be another segment of this. But, my whole intent on this is to start to get, his press and media, resume built up, but also start, talking about him and getting, it out there. And you guys can expect more interviews. I know you guys miss him and want him. And I just fucking hate doing them because I had all famous people and shit like that. And I just don't give a fuck about half of them. These are people that I do care about. Yeah, I may not get as many views and shit like that, but I just don't give a fuck. But remember, you can support the podcast for 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month, or $9.99 a month. I really appreciate it if you do. And those who do, love you. You don't have to. Don't feel obligated. Is there any last words or anything you want to say? I'm going to put all your links down in the bottom. You can catch them on tour with myself being a tour manager, the, cancel culture tour. But what, is there anything else you want to sign off, advice, or like, what would you say? What's your final words here? I'd just say, like, tune in, like watch what I'm doing and take away what you can from it. Buy my merch. Yeah, and you'll be able to find, again, I'm going to put his links down below so you ain't got to blah, blah, blah them. And it's been a pleasure, man. And I just want to say a couple of things, dude. I love you. I appreciate, and I'm not going to say it's publicly. I'm sick. We'll just put it that way. I appreciate your friendship, your understanding, your camaraderie. You know me, I don't talk to many people like in terms of that, and I can consider you a brother, a friend. So I love you and appreciate you for that. And I'm very thankful for you, man. And thank you for coming on the show. This has been a long time coming. Yeah. Thank you, man. You really kicked off this journey for me, and you've helped me a lot along the way. So yeah, well, I love you too, man. You have too, man. More than you know. Well, hey, listen, this is James Davis McAllister, your host of From The Stache Podcast, and support, the sponsors. Shout out our brand beard products. Shout out to Catholic Clothing. Shout out litchat.com. Shout out Spotify. Shout out Folsom Audio. Shout out McAlpine Meadery. Again, you'll hear the ad reads throughout. And if you notice, guys, I took out the ad reads for Anchor and Spotify, if you didn't notice that. So you guys won't have to listen to that shit because I know you want to hear it. But thank you so much. And I'll be back with you soon. I promise. You can hold me to that. If I don't have another episode after this one within a week, unsubscribe from me, block this shit, everything. All right, you hear me? All right, I'm out, guys. I love each and every one of you.